You are watching The World 24/7 on the NDTV network. I'm Parmeshwar Bawa. We've got an action-packed bulletin lined up for you. India is on a diplomatic roll this week. Let's begin with the headlines we're tracking currently. The Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, arrived in New Delhi to a warm welcome as he kick-started a two-day maiden visit to India to boost bilateral ties on a range of areas including energy, connectivity, amid escalating tensions in West Asia. External Affairs Minister Dr Jaishankar arrived in Saudi Arabia to take part in the first India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting. During the visit, he's also expected to hold bilateral meetings with foreign ministers from GCC member countries. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is likely to travel to Russia from the 10th to the 12th of September for the BRICS NSA's meet as per our sources. The meeting is scheduled to take place in St. Petersburg. The Defence Minister hints at conditional talks with Pakistan. Rajnath Singh says the talks will happen only if Pakistan stops supporting terrorism. Rajnath Singh opens a door. The big question is, will Pakistan walk the distance? Thousands of people have taken to the streets in Pakistan demanding the release of former Prime Minister Imran Khan, who has been behind bars for more than a year on what his party calls are politically motivated charges. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi began his three-day visit to the United States, arriving in Texas, where he was warmly welcomed by members of the Indian diaspora and the Indian Overseas Congress. Well, our big focus, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi is scheduled to meet our Prime Minister today and hold discussions on a wide range of areas of bilateral cooperation. I must inform you that this is Zayed Al Nahyan's first visit to India as the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, and he is accompanied by several ministers from the UAE government as well as a business delegation. He is also scheduled to call on President Draupadi Murmu and will visit Rajghat in order to pay tribute to Mahatma Gandhi. But tomorrow, the visiting Crown Prince will visit Mumbai to participate in a business forum in which business leaders from both countries are expected to participate. According to the Prime Minister's office, I must inform you that India and UAE, the trade between both our countries rose to $85 billion US. This is in the year 2022, making the UAE India's third largest trading partner for the year 2022-23 and India's second largest export destination. India is also the UAE's second largest trading partner. Here's a little context for you.
A momentous occasion unfolds in New Delhi as the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed Al Nahyan, has arrived for a pivotal visit. This trip signifies not only a strengthening of ties but also marks the future leadership of the UAE, with Sheikh Khalid set to be the next king.
The deepening bond between India and the UAE is exemplified by remarkable gestures of cooperation, such as the recent construction of Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi, a gesture of goodwill and mutual respect between the nations. The Indian diaspora, numbering over 3.5 million, plays a crucial role in the UAE, contributing significantly to its economy and cultural landscape. This vibrant community underscores the deep-rooted connections between our people. Trade between India and the UAE has surged, with bilateral exchanges reaching nearly $60 billion annually. This economic partnership extends to strategic investments and collaborations that are shaping the future. India is the second largest trading partner of UAE. UAE is India's largest trading partner in the Arab world. Total trade between India and UAE projected to reach $100 billion from $57 billion at present. UAE is fifth largest supplier of crude oil to India and accounts for about 8% of India's total crude imports. UAE ranks first among the destinations for India's exports in West Asia region. As a powerful player in the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the UAE's support is vital for India in navigating regional challenges and balancing diplomatic pressures, particularly in relations with Pakistan. Sheikh Khalid's visit highlights the UAE's commitment to deepening economic and strategic ties with India, setting the stage for a future of enhanced collaboration under his forthcoming leadership. This visit not only reaffirms the strong partnership between the two countries, but also paves the way for a prosperous future. The growing alliance promises mutual benefits, reflecting the shared aspirations of India and the UAE.
UAE has emerged as a key anchor for India's Gulf outreach, and with this visit of Crown Prince Khalid, India is expecting to deepen its strategic ties with one of the most powerful nations in West Asia. With camera person Xavier, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
Mohammad Ghazali also joins us live for a quick update at the moment. Ghazali, it is understood that the UAE's support is vital for India in navigating regional challenges and also balancing diplomatic pressures, particularly when it comes to relations with Pakistan. But take us through the Crown Prince's plan of action while he's in India.
See, he has arrived yesterday. Today he will be visiting Rajghat to pay tributes to Father of the Nation, Mahatma Gandhi. He'll also be having a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, wherein we are expecting that key issues will be discussed, like why his visit is very significant, because for the first time India is also investing in the second generation of leadership in the UAE, because he is poised to replace his father as and when he is appointed as the king or the president of that West Asian nation UAE. Also, it is very vital to have one of your key partners in the West Asian nation on your side. We have seen, as the reports are suggesting, that India and UAE's bilateral ties have soiled over the years, and with these frequent meetings, if you see the itinerary in the last 5 years, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and MBZ Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the current president and father of the Crown Prince, who is in India right now, Prime Minister and the President of UAE has met multiple times in the last 5 years. He was also a special invitee at the Gujarat Summit, Vibrant Gujarat Summit last year, earlier this year. So, lot of commitments have been made, and we also know that how West Asia is facing a kind of conflict between Israel and Hamas. People in Gaza are suffering. So amid all this, it is also a big challenge for India to navigate through this difficult situation in the West Asia, because India and West Asia's relations are deepening individually with every country. You have powerful nations like UAE, Saudi, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, and these countries also kind of are the leading source of our oil and natural gas supply from there. So India has to navigate through all these challenges, because India also maintains its relationship with Iran, Israel, as well as these Arab countries. So navigating through these challenging times, having one powerful country on your side is always going to help India in maintaining its relationship in West Asia.
As always, Ghazali, thanks so much for joining us for the crucial update. Do stay on with us for the next update as well. External Affairs Minister Dr Jaishankar, who's currently in Saudi Arabia for a key Gulf summit, will travel to Germany and Switzerland later this week on an official visit. Mr Jaishankar will reach Berlin on Tuesday for a 2-day official visit, his third visit as Foreign Minister to Berlin. And then in Germany, he will be meeting the German Federal Foreign Minister as well as the leadership and other ministers from the German government. The aim there is to review bilateral relations between India and Germany. After which, he's also going to be heading, he has a packed schedule. In fact, he's going to be in Switzerland from the 12th to the 13th. The Gulf Cooperation Council, though, in Riyadh, is a political and economic union of 6 countries in the Gulf region: Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and Oman. Let's go across to Ghazali for a quick update. Ghazali, first the Middle East, then Europe. Take us through Dr Jaishankar's key meetings this week as well as the planned agenda.
Yes, Dr Jaishankar has already arrived in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, because he's going to be there for 2 days for a meeting with the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council of these Arab countries, where the our foreign minister will be meeting with the foreign ministers of other Gulf countries, which is going to be called the first India GCC foreign ministers meet. Why this is significant? Just an extension of what I was reporting a short while back, that India is deepening its ties with Arab countries. Why this is significant? Because most of these Arab countries also account for our largest trading partner. Three important nations, Qatar, UAE and Saudi, also accounts for most of our expat population who are from India. Then we are heavily reliant upon them for our energy, oil and natural gas needs. But besides that, there are many challenges as well for which Mr. Jaishankar, the foreign minister, is there to meet the foreign ministers of other Gulf nations. One being the conflict in West Asia, because since India maintains its relations with Israel, Iran and Arab countries, so navigating through it, because India is not a major player when it comes to conflict in West Asia. And primarily due to that, India is also facing security challenges in the Red Sea when it comes to the sea route navigation or sea route trade. We know how Houthis are attacking and stopping any ship which is moving either towards Israel or moving outside from Israel towards any other country. So to navigate through these challenges, the Foreign Minister of India, Mr. Jaishankar, is in Arab country. In Saudi Arabia, he will be attending a two-day event, and then he will move towards Europe, Switzerland and Germany, where he will also aim to deepen their ties with these European countries, because we are also kind of dependent on them for trade ties, and to ensure that our relationship with both the region in the Arab world and in Europe deepens further when it comes to trade and investment. This trip is very significant.
Thanks so much, Ghazali, for joining us with those crucial updates. Switching tracks, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval will travel to Moscow this week to hold discussions aimed at resolving the Russia-Ukraine war. Now, this comes after Prime Minister Modi visited Russia back in July and Ukraine in August, where he held meetings with the presidents of the two countries, Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky. Shortly after his trip to Ukraine, though, and his meeting with President Zelensky, our Prime Minister spoke to President Putin over the phone on the 27th of August. And a Russian embassy statement then said that Prime Minister Modi informed President Putin about his visit to Kyiv and stressed India's commitment to bring about a settlement by political and diplomatic means. Ajit Doval's visit, however, is part of the BRICS NSA's meeting this week, ahead of the annual summit in Kazan. The meeting will see top security officials of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, besides new members Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia. Mr. Doval is also expected to hold bilateral talks with his Chinese counterpart, Mr. Wang Yi. Well, for further clarity, we have with us Russian affairs expert, Professor Anuradha Chinoy. Thank you so much, ma'am, for making time for us on the World 24/7 as always. India has not publicly censured Russia's invasion of Ukraine, as we know, and our leadership has consistently called for a return to the path of diplomacy and dialogue, as we've seen in Russia and in Ukraine. But ma'am, how do you think Mr. Doval's trip is likely to impact the current state of affairs?
Well, look, Mr. Doval's visit is extremely important. Number one, it is a follow-up of Prime Minister Modi's visit, where there were very serious talks on the issue of international security and specifically what is happening in Ukraine, where the Prime Minister had very clearly, told Mr. Putin that this is not the time for war, and also that India has taken a position which understands Russia's position. So Russia is grateful for that position, but also a position of kind of neutrality, where they would like peace to resume, which is good for the planet. So that is the one issue which Mr. Doval will talk to with the BRICS national security advisors. All of them will be there. So this is a very important meeting of the BRICS, and also because the BRICS, their yearly meeting is going to be held under Russian presidency in next month in Kazan, for which Prime Minister Modi has said he would be going. But the issue of Ukraine is that clearly Ukraine has now pushed into the Kursk area of Russia, which is within Russia, and has entered there. But at the same time, it's obvious that it's strategically losing this war. It's on the back foot. They've lost a lot of men and equipment, etc. And they've been pushed into this war. It's a proxy war from the West. And India is one of the few countries, along with the BRICS countries, who can mediate. So there is a possibility that the BRICS collectively would bring out a strong statement next month. But before that, India would offer to mediate. But this depends on both sides. Now, Ukraine can't want mediation and keep pushing into Russia. There has to be a communication between the two sides, a political will between Russia and the West and Ukraine. And only then India cannot just, they don't want to make a fool of itself asking for peace when both these sides are in a war of attrition, where the Ukraine is being pushed to, as they say, to the last Ukrainian to get a victory, and the decision will be on the battlefield. That is not India's position. India's position is have peace, ceasefire, negotiate now, and come to a good settlement on both your terms. Compromise. Yes. Peace requires compromise. Give some, take some. So I think that is what Mr. Doval will put forward, and he will be backed by especially China and South Africa. They have similar positions in the BRICS. All the BRICS countries are for this. It is the West and Ukraine really which want to go back to the borders of pre-2014, which Russia will not agree to.
Well, hopes are high indeed from this meeting, but it's no secret meanwhile, ma'am, that India buys crude oil from Russia in order to keep domestic inflation in check, and also that Moscow continues to be a major defense supplier to New Delhi. Ukraine also meanwhile has significant military and bilateral cooperation with us. Do you think Mr. Doval's participation at this forum in St. Petersburg is, in a sense, likely to upset Ukraine and Mr. Zelensky?
You see, Ukraine wants every country on their side. He is likely to make some noises, because when Prime Minister Modi went to meet Mr. Putin, that was the day the NATO meeting started. Ukraine expressed disappointment, and he would, but he also wants, I think he's on a losing wicket, and he would like peace on his own terms. So I don't think India is particularly concerned whether Ukraine criticizes it or not.
Right.
They have a clear agenda that they are saying we say we are neutral, and we have given humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. Prime Minister Modi also visited Ukraine to show India's even-handedness. And so we have to continue with our agenda, which is of global peace.
As always, Professor Chinoy, thank you so much for making time for us on The World 24/7. Always a pleasure to hear your perspective.
Thank you.
With that, let's turn our attention now to Rahul Gandhi. He's on a 3-day visit to the United States. The leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha addressed critical issues such as unemployment, education, and technology. He in fact observed that both the West and India are facing job crises and suggested that India should boost its own production to tackle unemployment. In fact, in Dallas, Texas, Rahul Gandhi also said the Bharat Jodo Yatra fundamentally changed the way he thinks about his work, further adding that it completely changed how he views politics. In fact, he also highlighted that the IT industry in India is going to have a really big, serious problem because of artificial intelligence. Well, news and updates continue in a moment right here on NDTV 24/7. We're slipping into a very short break for now. Welcome back. Let's get you news from the neighborhood. Thousands of people have taken to the streets in the Pakistani capital demanding the release of former Prime Minister Imran Khan, who has been behind bars for more than a year on what his party calls are politically motivated charges. But this was the first time since Mr. Khan's arrest a year ago that the PTI was allowed by a Pakistani court to hold a rally on the outskirts of Islamabad. Meanwhile, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said India is ready to start dialogue with Pakistan if the neighbouring country stops sponsoring terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. Singh made the comment at an election rally in Ramban district, and the BJP has actually fielded Mohammad Salim Bhatt from the Banihal seat in this district. Mr. Singh said if Pakistan does one thing, that is stop giving support to terrorism, who would not like to improve relations with neighboring countries? Because I know the reality that you can change a friend, but not your neighbor. In fact, he made these comments at a rally in Banihal.
पाकिस्तान से बातचीत करने की बात कुछ लोग करते हैं। मैं कहता हूं पाकिस्तान एक काम कर दे, आतंकवाद का सहारा लेना बंद कर दे। कौन नहीं चाहेगा कि हमारे पड़ोसी देशों के साथ रिश्ते बेहतर हों? क्योंकि इस हकीकत को मैं जानता हूं बहनों भाइयों, जिंदगी में दोस्त बदल जाते हैं लेकिन पड़ोसी नहीं बदलता है।
My colleague Mohammad Ghazali is tracking the finer details for us. He joins us live at the moment. Ghazali, so the Defence Minister has, in a sense, said there's a conditional dialogue, open doors for Pakistan on certain terms?
Oh yes, he is reiterating what we had seen during 99's Mr. Vajpayee's government, when he used to say that we can't change our neighbors, and that is exactly what he's hinting, that relations can only improve if Pakistan doesn't back terrorism. And just a short while back we were also gathering some reports that there is infiltration bid near Jammu, and a terror operation, a counter-terror operation has been launched by the Indian Army there. So just hours after the Rajnath Singh, the Defence Minister of India, hinted that perhaps India and Pakistan can sit for dialogue or can sit for talks, the condition being that Pakistan should stop terrorism, has been reiterated. It's very significant because just a couple of weeks ago, the Foreign Minister of India, Mr. Jaishankar, has also said that we are not in any zone right now where we can continue talks with Pakistan until it stops terrorism. And in the last 1 year or so, if you see in the recent past, Pakistan has not changed its attitude towards India. It continues to foment trouble in Indian territory, in Jammu and Kashmir. We have also seen how drones have been used by Pakistan to push drugs, counterfeit currency in India. And that is why this statement is very significant, that until Pakistan mends its ways, stops supporting terrorism, till then there would be no dialogue. And for dialogue, Pakistan will have to withdraw its support to terrorism from its territory.